I am 29 years old, and I have been with my fiancé for over 10 years. We grew up together in many ways, learning adulthood side by side, making mistakes, building trust, and choosing each other again and again. We've been engaged for almost 2 years now, and this wedding is not something impulsive or rushed. It represents a decade of commitment, patience, and love. I am also the youngest of 5 children, which has shaped my role in my family more than I used to realize. Growing up, I was always the baby, expected to be flexible, forgiving, and easygoing. Out of all my siblings, I was closest to the sister directly above me, who is 3 years older. We shared a bedroom for most of our lives, shared secrets, clothes, inside jokes, and the kind of bond that forms when you grow up side by side without much personal space. I truly believe she would always be my safe place within the family. 8 years ago, I moved far away out of state to build my own life. My parents and all of my siblings stayed close to one another geographically, while I became the one who flew in for holidays and major events. Despite the distance, my relationship with that sister stayed strong. We talked on the phone several times a week. She knew the details of my life, my relationship, my struggles, and my plans. I trusted her deeply. She had been with her partner for roughly the same amount of time I had been with mine. From the very beginning, my family disliked him. He had no ambition, no career goals, no drive to grow or contribute. He seemed perfectly comfortable letting my sister carry the emotional and financial burden of their relationship while he coasted. Over time, it became clear that their bond was less about love and more about trauma and codependence. Still, we all knew that no matter how obvious the red flags were, we couldn't force her to see them. She had to make her own choices. When they got engaged, their wedding was planned for the following year. That year was miserable. My sister became intensely controlling and demanding, ordering family members around, insisting on very specific tasks and expectations, yet excluding all of us from the actual wedding party. None of her sisters were bridesmaids. We were expected to give our time, money, and emotional labor without being included in any meaningful way. Still, we swallowed our frustration. We complained quietly among ourselves and told each other that it was her wedding year and we should just let her have it. What struck me the most during that time was how unhappy she seemed. There was no joy, no excitement, no warmth. Everything felt tense and heavy. It felt less like a celebration and more like an obligation she was dragging herself toward. Then, a week before the wedding, she called it off entirely. By that point, everyone had already spent significant money. Flights were booked, hotels paid for, outfits purchased, time off work approved. The wedding location wasn't near my parents' house, so everyone had arranged accommodations nearby. Refunds were impossible. My fiancé and I had already flown in. Even though the wedding was canceled, we stayed for a few days because the money was spent and I genuinely loved my hometown. My sister immediately moved back into my mom's house. She and her fiancé had been living together, so the separation felt dramatic and serious. We went to see her, comforted her, sat with her while she cried, and reassured her that calling off the wedding was a brave and healthy decision. We told her this was likely a blessing in disguise, that he had been draining her, holding her back, and that she deserved better. At the time, I truly believed she was finally choosing herself. Then we found out that before canceling the wedding, she and her fiancé had gone to the courthouse and gotten legally married. None of us knew, not our parents, not her siblings, not even the people who had flown in and spent thousands of dollars. The discovery was shocking and deeply confusing. Why cancel a wedding when you're already married? Why accept comfort and sympathy for something that wasn't fully true? When we confronted her, we urged her to get an annulment. We told her that if she felt strongly enough to cancel the wedding, then staying legally bound to him made no sense. She refused. 2 weeks later, we learned that they were back together and living in their apartment again, as if nothing had happened. At that point, every member of my family said the same thing. If she wasn't going to leave him permanently, then she needed serious time apart. A year at least, Time for him to prove real change. Time for her to regain clarity and independence. None of it mattered. She didn't listen. Eventually, we all stepped back and moved on because there was nothing more we could do. 6 months later, my fiancé proposed to me. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. I FaceTimed my family, including my sister, and everyone congratulated me. On the surface, everything seemed fine. But soon after, my conversations with my sister became short and awkward. She sounded distant and disengaged. At first, I told myself I was imagining it. Then other family members told me the truth. My sister felt some type of way about my engagement. Eventually, she reached out and told me directly that my engagement was triggering for her and that she didn't want to hear about my wedding at all. I was stunned. Hurt in a way I didn't know how to process. I hadn't caused her wedding to fall apart. I hadn't influenced her relationship. Yet, somehow, my happiness was being treated as a personal attack. I responded honestly and told her I hoped she was in therapy because that level of resentment wasn't healthy. After that conversation, our relationship essentially stopped. Over the next year, we spoke only 3 times. Twice were on our birthdays. When she texted me on my birthday, I lost my composure. I told her that the only reason I was hearing from her was because it was my birthday, and that if my birthday were later in the year, I wouldn't have heard from her at all. She replied by saying phones work both ways. That response made me furious. Who would initiate conversation with someone who explicitly said they didn't want to hear about the most important thing happening in their life? What was I supposed to talk about? Small talk? The weather? I felt silenced, dismissed, and punished for being happy. Throughout that year, my parents repeatedly pressured me to reach out to her and fix things. As the youngest child, I refused to take responsibility for something I didn't cause. My sister has always been the golden child, coddled and protected, rarely held accountable for her behavior. My family struggles with boundaries, but I don't. I have worked hard to build and maintain them, and I wasn't willing to sacrifice my self-respect to make things easier for everyone else. My fiancé watched all of this unfold. He saw how deeply it hurt me. The more he saw, the less he wanted anything to do with my sister. He didn't want her at the wedding at all, but he never tried to control my decision. He left it up to me. I spent months thinking about it. Eventually, I decided to invite my sister because I knew I might regret not extending the invitation. But I made a firm decision not to invite her husband. We have no relationship with him. He has manipulated her for years. I truly believe he influenced her resentment toward my engagement. If my own sister couldn't be happy for me, I had no reason to believe he would be. Weddings are expensive, and I refuse to be bullied into paying for someone I don't want in my life. Now I've heard that my sister plans not to attend my wedding because her husband wasn't invited. I don't believe that as a valid reason to miss your youngest sister's wedding. If she truly doesn't show up, I don't know how our relationship can recover. I don't know how to move forward knowing that she chose a man who has isolated her and caused so much pain over her own sister. At this point, all I can do is stand by my boundaries and accept whatever choice she makes. I have spent too long shrinking myself to accommodate other people's dysfunction. This wedding is about love, commitment, and the future I am building. If she can't be part of that without conditions, then maybe this loss was inevitable all along.